Hi, good day. This is Miss LM and we're back again for another math video, and today we're going to talk about finding equation of a line by 2 points. So tapos na tayo dito sa by slope and its intercept. Tapos na rin tayo sa by slope and a point. Dito na tayo sa by 2 points. So before that, let us recall the different forms of linear equation. So again, meron tayong standard form ax plus by is equals to c. Slope intercept form y is equals to mx plus b. So itong dalawang to yung magiging resulting equation kapag na-substitute na natin yung mga given values, di po ba? So point slope form, ito po yung ginamit natin dun sa nauna nating video, and today we're going to use this 2-point form. Y minus y sub 1 is equals to y sub 1 minus y sub 2 all over x sub 1 minus x sub 2 multiplied to the quantity of x minus x sub 1. So mas mahaba siya compare dun sa point slope form. Kasi yung slope natin na m, wala pa tayong mismong value. Ano po, kukunin pa lang natin yung value ng slope na yon. So, ito po yung magiging formula natin to find out the equation we are looking for. Now, let's have our topic for this video, finding equation of a line using 2 points. So, since meron tayong 2 points, we expect na meron tayong dalawang ordered pairs. So, we can name those ordered pairs as x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So, itong x sub 1, y sub 1 is for our first point, and then x sub 2, y sub 2 for our second point. And again, this is our 2-point form. Dito natin isa-substitute yung ating mga values. So, let's have our example number 1. In our example number 1, meron tayong graph. Okay? So, we have point J and point O. So, since graph po yung meron tayo, and we're going to use the 2-point form, hanapin natin yung coordinates ng mga points na yon. So, we have point J and point O. For point J, we have, so 4 yung katapat niya sa X, and then 5 yung katapat niya sa Y. So, we have 4 and 5. And then for point O, yung ating X-axis again, katapat niya po ay si positive 2. And then for the Y-axis, ang katapat niya po ay si negative 1. That is why ito po yung ating 2 points. 4 and 5 for our first point. So, that will be our X sub 1 and Y sub 1. And then for point O, we have 2 and negative 1. That will be our X sub 2, Y sub. This is our 2-point form. Substitute natin yung mga values. Again, i-enclose muna natin lahat ng isa-substitute natin sa parentheses para po hindi tayong magkamali sa mga sign na ilalapat natin sa kanila. Y minus Y sub 1. So, ito po yon. We have positive 5. Enclose muna natin sa parentheses even though positive siya. Then, for the slope na hinahanap natin, Y sub 1, we have positive 5 again. And then, for our y sub 2, we have negative 1 enclosed in parentheses. X sub 1 natin is positive 4. And then, our x sub 2 is positive 2. So, kapag positive naman po dito sa ating slope, pwede naman na po natin hindi siya i-enclose sa parentheses. Okay, and then gumamit ulit tayo ng bracket para i-anticipate na natin itong ating x sub 1 na i-parenthesis din muna natin. Ang x sub 1 natin ay positive 4. So, ito yung naging itsura ng ating equation after we substitute the values. Double check natin. Y sub 1 is positive 5. Y sub 1 positive 5. Y sub 2 is negative 1. Ayan po. X sub 1 is positive 4. X sub 2 is positive 2. So, ayan po. Then, x sub 1 ulit, positive 4. So, from here, apply na natin yung mga sign nila. Y minus 5 pa rin po kasi positive lang naman po yan. Then, 5 minus negative 1. Magkakaroon tayo ng 5 plus 1 kasi minus negative. And then, 4 minus 2 is 2. And then here, we have x minus 4. So, hindi rin nabago yung sign kasi positive naman po siya. So, 5 plus 1 is 6 over 2. Magkakaroon tayo ng y minus 5 equals to 6 over 2 multiplied to the quantity of x minus 4. From here, we can divide na po muna si 6 over 2 kasi divisible naman siya. Magkakaroon tayo ng y minus 5 equals 3 multiplied to the quantity of x minus 4. Then, itong 3 na to, we have to multiply it. Distributive property tayo. 3 times x, that is 3x, and then 3 times negative 4, that's negative 12. And kung kailangan po ulit is naka-slope intercept form, again, ang atin pong additive inverse na hanapin is for negative 5. And the additive inverse is positive 5, so add that on both sides. Dito po sa ating left side, magiging 0 na lang, matitira na lang is y, and then on the right side, ito na po si positive 5. Negative 12 and positive 5, magkaiba sila ng sign. Again, bakit naging negative? Kapag nag-keep change po tayo from positive 12 po, magiging negative po yan. Unlike sign sila nung another constant, which is 5, isang negative, isang positive. So, subtract the absolute values. 12 minus 5 is 7, and then sign of the greater value, mas malaki si 12 and negative si 12. So, the resulting equation is y equals 3x minus 7. So, this will be the equation of this line having point J and point O. So, kung may line tayo at hinahanap natin yung ating equation, we can use two-point form to find that equation. And medyo mahaba nga lang siya kasi madami-dami tayong isa-substitute. And again, double check natin yung mga sign na kinokopya natin at ilalapat natin sa kanila. Also, the additive inverse, wag pong magkakamali. And this will be the result. Kapag po ang ating hinahanap is the standard form, pwede naman pong from this portion sa y minus 5 equals 3x minus 12, dito pa lang po ay hanapin na natin yung ating standard form. In that case, yung 3x yung hahanapan natin ng additive inverse at saka si negative 5. So, para si term na may x variable, mapunta na dito sa ating left side at si constant, mapunta na dito sa right side. And then, continue na lang po until you arrive at the standard form ax plus by is equals to c. So, that's for our example number 1. Let's have our example number 2. So, for example number 2, meron po ulit tayong graph. We have here the graph of a line downward from left to right. So, expected ng slope natin is negative, and we have here two identified points, point H and point N. So, from here, we have to know what are the coordinates of these points. And what are the coordinates of this point? We have for point H, ano yung katapat niya dito sa x-axis? Positive 1. Katapat niya sa y-axis? Positive 5. So, 1 and 5. For point N, we have, anong katapat niya sa x-axis? Positive 5. Katapat niya dito sa ating y-axis? Positive 1. So, we have 5 and 1. So, from here, we are going to substitute that on our two-point form, having x sub 1, y sub 1 from the first point, and then x sub 2, y sub 2 from the second point. So, substitute na natin. Again, i-enclose sa parenthesis yung mga kailangang i-enclose. Kung positive naman po ay no need na. Pero hanggat maaari po, i-parenthesis na rin po muna natin kung kinakailangan. Y minus y sub 1, that is positive 5, equals. So, y sub 1 ulit tayo, positive 5 ulit yon. Y sub 2, we have 1, so minus 1. And then x sub 1 is positive 1 minus our x sub 2, which is positive 5. So, ito na siya. Multiply to the quantity of x minus, again, x sub 1 is positive 1. So, apply na natin. Diretso na rin natin ng subtract itong ating y sub 1 minus y sub 2, x sub 1 minus x sub 2. So, dito po, y minus 5 pa rin. And then, 5 minus 1 is 4. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Kasi yung sign of the greater value, negative 5. So, kaya negative 4 yung result. Then, we have the quantity of x minus 1. Hindi pa rin po nagbago yung sign or hindi pa rin po nagbago yung operation kasi positive naman po itong ating 1. So, from here, 4 divided by negative 4, that is negative 1. And negative 1 multiplied to the quantity of x minus 1. So, may magbabago sa sign. Ano po? Kasi negative 1 po yan. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x or negative x. The negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1 na. Saan nanggaling yung negative 1 nito? Again, pag nag-KCC po tayo, magiging negative po siya. So, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So, from here, pwede natin siyang gawing standard form or slope-intercept form. Kung kanina naka-slope-intercept form, try naman natin na naka-standard form ngayon. What we're going to do is to have our term with the x variable on the left side of the equation and all of the constants on the right side of the equation. What we're going to do is to add additive inverse of the term with the x variable on both sides of the equation, also additive inverse of the constant on both sides of the equation. So, ang additive inverse po ng ating negative 5 is positive 5 at ang additive inverse po ng ating negative x is positive x. Pag ini-add natin yan, ating positive x nandito na sa ating left side, magiging 0 na siya dito sa right side. Then, si negative 5 naman, additive inverse niya ay positive 5. Pag nag-add tayo dito sa left side, magiging 0 na siya dito sa left side. So, ito na po yung ating equation. Now, rewrite na natin siya to have the standard form where the term with the x variable is the first term in left side, x muna, then plus y, kasi positive naman po yung ating y, then 1 plus 5 is 6. So, ito ngayon yung standard form of the linear equation of this line having 2 points, okay? So, that's for our example number 2. Now, let's move to our third example, example number 3. So, for example number 3, given na po dito yung coordinates ng 2 points. We have point M, 5 and negative 2, and then for point A, 1 and 0. These 2 points ay ang ating x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, and this will be substituted to our 2-point form of the linear equation. So, we have y minus y sub 1, that is negative 2, and close muna natin sa parentheses. Then, on the right side of the equation, we have y sub 1 minus y sub 2. So, y sub 1 is negative 2 and close again in the parentheses minus our y sub 2 which is 0. Then, on the denominator, x sub 1 that is 5 minus x sub 2 which is positive 1. Then, multiply to the quantity of x minus what is our x sub 1 that is positive 5. So, na-substitute na natin, double check ulit natin, negative 2 yung ating y sub 1. So, negative 2 din dito. Then, we have 0. On the denominator, x sub 1, 5, x sub 2, 1, and then dito po x sub 1 yung ating isa-substitute. Now, apply na natin yung sign. We can also perform the operation na dito sa ating slope na to. Magkakaroon tayo ng y plus 2 minus and then negative, that is positive. Negative 2 minus 0 is still negative 2, and then 5 minus 1 is 4. Then, quantity of x minus 5 pa rin siya dito sa parenthesis natin. Simplify first po muna itong negative 2 over 4, that is negative 1 half, and then distribute it here in the parenthesis. So, magkakaroon tayo ng y plus 2 equals negative 1 half times x is negative 1 half x. And then, negative 1 half times negative 5. So, negative times negative is positive. 1 times 5 is 5. So, positive 5 over 2. And again, wag tayong matakot kung meron tayong denominator. What we're going to do is to multiply both sides of the equation by the LCD. And dahil positive 2 lang naman po yung nasa denominator natin, yun po yung ipang-multiply natin dito sa ating term, sa ating linear equation. So, bawat terms po imumultiply by positive 2. So, 2 times y, that is 2y. 2 times positive 2, that is positive 4. And then, equal siya sa 2 times negative 1 half x. So, makakancel na yung 2. Matitira na lang po is negative 1x. And then, 2 times positive 5 over 2. Makakancel po ulit natin yung 2. Magkakaroon na lang po tayo ng plus 5. From this portion, kung tayo po ay naka-slope intercept form o kaya naka-standard form, so dito na po natin yun gagawin. Ano po? Yung mga additive inverse ng mga kailangan natin to form the standard form or the slope intercept form. So, in this example, balik tayo sa slope intercept form. So, additive inverse lang po nitong ating constant, that is positive 4 magiging negative 4. So, on both sides of the equation, magkakaroon tayo ng negative 4, and then dito sa ating left side, magiging 0 na lang siya, kaya 2y na lang yung natira. 2y is equal to negative 1x or negative x na lang plus 5, and then ito na po yung ating minus 4. And again, 5 minus 4, that is 1, and then sign of the greater value, that is positive. We have 2y equals negative x plus 1. And dahil may 2 pa po nakasama yung y natin, we have to divide that by positive 2 para maging 1y na lang. Kung magdi-divide tayo ng positive 2 dito sa left, magdi-divide din tayo dito sa terms na nasa right. So, divide both sides by positive 2. Magkakaroon tayo ng y is equals to negative 1 half. Saan nanggaling yung 1? Again, numerical coefficient siya ng ating negative x. And then, 1 over 2. So, 1 half din po. The final answer for this example is y is equals to negative 1 half x plus 1 half. Okay? So, that's for our example number 3. Let's now proceed to our example number 4. So, for example number 4, given na rin po yung coordinates ng ating dalawang point. We have point R, negative 1 and 4, and then for point K, we have 2 and 7. We're going to substitute that in our 2-point form. So, you can pause this video for a while and you try it on your notebook para po malaman natin kung nakakasunod na nga ba sa ating topic for this video. So, pause nyo po muna, and then pagtapos nyo na po, saka nyo po i-play para po malaman natin kung tama yung inyong sagot. Okay, so for the answer, again, we have to substitute the x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2 to our 2-point form. So we have y minus y sub 1, that is positive 4, equals siya sa y sub 1, which is positive 4, minus y sub 2, which is positive 7, so 4 minus 7, all over x sub 1, which is negative 1, so better enclose it in parentheses, minus our x sub 2, which is positive 2. So, meron tayong negative 1 minus 2 dito sa ating denominator. Multiply to the quantity of x minus, so ano ating x sub 1? Again, parenthesis natin, negative 1. So, from here, apply na natin yung kanilang mga proper sign and then isubtract na rin natin, i-combine na rin natin itong nandito sa ating slope. So, we have y minus 4 pa din. 4 minus 7 is negative 3 kasi magkaiba sila ng sign and then sign of the greater value. And then, dito naman po sa ating denominator, negative 1 minus 2, that is negative 1 plus negative 2 kapag nag-KCC tayo or keep change, and the result is negative 3. From here, we have y minus 4 equals negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1 and then multiply to the quantity of x plus 1. So, dito po, magdi-distributive property tayo ulit and since positive 1 lang naman po yan, x plus 1 pa rin po yung magiging result natin or 1x plus 1. And then, kung ang kailangan po natin ay slope-intercept form, ito pong ating negative 4 ang hahanapan natin ng additive inverse and that is positive 4. So, on both sides of the equation, mag-a-add tayo ng positive 4. Magkakaroon tayo ng y is equals to x plus 1 plus 4. So, combine na natin yung dalawang constants. 1 plus 4 is 5. So, ang ating resulting equation is y is equals to x plus 5. Okay? So, that's for our example number 4. Down to our last example, example number 5. So, for example number 5, given here is point E having 0 and negative 2 coordinates, and then point N, negative 4 and negative 8. Ito yung ating magiging x sub 1, y sub 1. For point N, nandito naman yung ating x sub 2, y sub 2. That's what we're going to substitute our two-point form of the linear equation. So, you can try it on your notebook, pause this video for a while, and then let's see if tama yung magiging slope-intercept form nyo of this equation. Okay? So, pause nyo po muna and then try nyo po munang gawin on your own. Okay, so for the answer, let's substitute first y minus y sub 1. So, we have negative 2 and close natin sa parenthesis para po hindi tayo malito sa sign. So, equal siya sa y sub 1, again, negative 2, and close muna sa parenthesis kasi nga po may negative. Minus our y sub 2, may negative po ulit. So, and close ulit natin sa parenthesis. All over x sub 1, that is 0, minus our x sub 2, which is negative 4, and close ulit natin sa parenthesis dahil negative siya. Then, quantity of x minus our x sub 1, which is 0. So, apply na natin yung sign, and then, let's solve na itong ating slope na ito. Y plus 2. Bakit naging plus 2? Kasi keep change, minus and then negative. Then here we have, ganun din po, minus and then negative, kaya naging plus 8. Sa denominator, minus and negative 4, kaya po naging plus 4. And then dito sa quantity, 0 pa rin siya. So, pwede na nga po natin itong i-eliminate kasi kahit ano naman pong i-multiply natin dyan sa 0, 0 pa rin yung ating result. So, simplify na muna natin ito. So, i-combine na muna natin itong nandito sa ating slope na portion. We have y plus 2 equals 8 minus 2 is 6 all over 0 plus 4 is 4 and then multiply to x. So, we have 6 over 4x. So, i-lowest term na lang po natin itong 6 over 4. Magkakaroon tayo ng 3 over 2. And then, from here, we don't need na to multiply it by the LCD kasi we're going to find out naman po is the slope-intercept form. Hindi na natin kailangan i-multiply by the LCD. Additive inverse na lang po ni positive 2 and that is negative 2. So, add natin negative 2 on both sides of the equation. Magkakaroon tayo ng y is equals to 3 over 2x minus 2. And this will be our slope-intercept form of this line having the 2 points, 0 and negative 2 and negative 4, negative 8. So, yan po yung ating slope-intercept form. Kung tayo po ay mag-i-standard form, pwede po mag-multiply tayo muna ng LCD para wala na tayong denominator. So, ganito na lang po. You don't need to multiply it by the LCD na. So, that's all for this video and ito na po lahat ng ating example for finding the equation using 2 points. And what are those steps we have followed to arrive at our final answer? Kung meron po tayong graph, ang hahanapin po natin is yung coordinates ng ating 2 points na nandun sa mismong line. Okay? So, pag nahanap na natin yung 2 points na yon, substitute natin siya dun sa ating 2-point form. Careful na lang po sa pag-substitute. Pag nagkamali tayo sa pag-copy ng sign at pagpapalit ng sign, magkakawali na tayo sa final answer. So, after you substitute, perform the operation, and then you apply distributive property on the right side of the equation, then pwede na ituloy yung ating process to rewrite into standard form or slope-intercept form. Ganon din naman kung walang graph at given na yung ating 2 points, diretso substitute na tayo and then solve and then manipulate the equation algebraically to arrive at our equation. Standard form man yan or slope-intercept form man po iyan. Okay? So, that's all for this video. I hope you learned something. Huwag kalimutang i-like, huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell button para ma-notify kayo kapag nakapag-upload na ako ng another video lessons. Okay? So, bye-bye! God bless!